Good morning. I know it is. We just don't have a speaker. Okay, before we forget, we always forget to do this, and everybody's like, I gotta go. So I'm going to take this. Hey, Joe, can you take this real quick?
Sure.
All right.
Come on here, girl.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more. There you go.
Thank you. Okay. Awesome. So, all right. So, welcome, top floor women. How many of you are here for the first time? Yay! That's awesome. Welcome. We do this every month, the first Wednesday of every month, 8 to 9:30. 8 to 8:30 is networking, obviously. We have coffee sponsors available. I got it. Coffee sponsors available. And today we're going to hear from Megan Yagi from Grafton Peak. So we're going to really lean in and find out what's going on downtown Greenwood. Our speaker is Megan Iazeolla, Italian, from Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So we can figure out what we can do today to make a difference. I was just in Panama for 7 days with the John Maxwell team. People that have been in my groups and on our Bible study have heard the story. I just wanted to read a quick recap of what we did when we served in Panama. We went to transform the country in leadership values. And I've got a sheet that you can take to kind of find out more about what we're doing. But a team of 73 coaches kind of went into Panama with the Panama Ladera Foundation. And they set up organizations for us to go in and train on values. Their country is begging for values training. Their country has kind of been a mess. So this is the second year that we've gone, but I wanted to just read a little quick recap of how we're serving. And we can do it here in America, right? What I learned is there's so much value in giving and giving and giving and giving, but here's the impact that happened last week. 38,000 people were trained, 73 coaches, and countless lives changed. We went to Panama alongside, like I said, the colleagues and partners with the Panama Foundation to build the momentum that had started a year ago to transform the country. But before our arrival, so the first year that this happened, they've had 75,000 adults and over 100,000 students that have gone through this process. Over the course of 2.5 days, again, we trained 3,800 new facilitators to be volunteers to duplicate what we trained them to do. Government agencies, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Work, the Ministry of Schools, the police, the administrators of the country. While we were there, we visited a school that has been adopted by the John Maxwell Team Foundation, and they signed the document for education for values to be brought into every school in Panama. So talk about tears. So there's so many things of action going on around the world in the countries that we're serving. We're going to go to Argentina next, and there's going to be 300 coaches. So think of the impact the 73 had. Anyway, I'm really proud. I wanted to share it. I've got a piece of paper here that talks about actions and initiative. I'd like for you to take one. Just think about, when you don't take an action step that's specific, it's not really action. And today we're going to learn about mentoring. We're going to learn about mentoring next month from Amanda Sparks with Allies. And it's a really important thing that we do to give back, right? That's why you guys are all here. So I just wanted to share that with you. Super excited to be here and help you guys grow as individuals as well. Did everybody get a ticket? I know I've been harassing you. Oh, sorry, Stacy. There you go. I'll just take that one. Okay. And Amanda, since you're the speaker next month, why don't you draw? All right, ticket number. Get your tickets out. All right, 845-2686. Yay! Okay. So, appropriately, John Maxwell's book on mentoring 101.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will get this started. Megan, if you'd like to come up, our coffee sponsor, talking to us about all the great things happening downtown Greenwood and Grafton Peak.
Hi, thank you. Yep. Thanks. I'm so excited to be here, everyone. This is my first time, and I saw the coffee sponsorship opportunity, so I was really excited to jump on that and meet everyone and be able to talk about what we have to offer in Old Town. So thank you for this time. I really appreciate it. I have two businesses I'm going to talk to you about. A year ago Saturday, we purchased the Grafton Peak building in Old Town, so I'm really excited to come up on our 1-year anniversary. If you don't know, it's the Grafton Peak building because Grafton Peak built it. He put his name in cement on the front. He was really smart to keep a legacy going because in Old Town it's always been known as the Grafton Peak building. So that's why we retained that name and opened two businesses. We have Grafton Peak Social Hall and Grafton Peak Mercantile. The Social Hall is an event space that's located on the second floor of the building. The building was built in 1889, so it's just this lovely, historic, charming event space. It's available for individual rental. We also run some community events out of it. I've been pairing with Amy, who's over there from Teal Canary. We'll be doing some workshops and things more together. So we're excited about that to offer some things to the community. But as mentioned, also private rentals. So if you're curious for a space, please let me know. I've got some pictures and information out front. So I would love to show that to you, or if you're just interested in booking a tour. We just renovated it and we're getting through all of that. So it's quite lovely. We've got open availability still for the holidays if you're looking for a holiday party, and quite a bit open in 2025 as well. And then on the ground floor, we've got Grafton Peak Mercantile, which is all Indiana-made gifts and goods. So a variety of things. We're working with about 65 vendors from across the state. Variety, candles, jewelry, clothes, you name it, we've got it. And it's just been a really great endeavor for us. As mentioned, we're coming up on our anniversary. So if you sign up for our mailing list or come and spend any amount in the Mercantile, we're doing a $50 raffle giveaway. And we'll draw names next week. So if you're interested in joining that, join our mailing list or come by and see us.
Awesome. Thank you. So great to have new spaces, right? And I think you said upstairs it's 160 people?
Correct. Yes.
Correct, yeah, so up to 160 people, so another space for us. Okay, let's hear about mentoring. Megan, come on up, and thanks for being here today. We really appreciate you. There's been a big campaign, Leadership Johnson County. You guys have done a lot of things to educate us. And the last time I talked to you, when we went to an event, there were 81 spots that you needed to fill.
Yeah.
So, okay, lean in. There's how many of us here?
Takes two.
But it takes a little, right, to be big.
It does.
So, thank you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me this morning. Usually I come with, Joe and I were talking, usually I come with 2 more people, but I thought it was unfair to ask them to get up as early as I got up this morning. So thanks so much. I'll get my second cup of coffee on the way out. How are you all today? Good. You guys are all early risers. How many of you are morning people? Just naturally. Wow. I'll talk to you guys about that afterwards. Definitely not. But here today to talk about mentoring with Big Brothers Big Sisters. My colleague Eric always says that Big Brothers Big Sisters seems like the umbrella for mentoring. As many of you have heard of Big Brothers Big Sisters, that's what we think, right? That's what we think about Big Brothers Big Sisters. Is our brand is we are the umbrella for mentoring, but really we're all mentors in our own way, right? And Big Brothers Big Sisters is one of the vehicles that gets us there. So how many, by show of hands, had a mentor between the ages of like 8 and 18, like someone special that you felt like was a mentor of some kind, even if that's not what they were called? Like an older sister, an older brother, even parents, teachers. How many of us had someone that, right? Teachers was the winner there, right? So my question always is, what would my life have been like at that age, those age ranges, had I not had someone pouring into my life? My best friend growing up, her parents really just let me spend time at their house all the time, which was a much healthier and even more fun space for me than home was at that time. And when I talked to her years later, decades later, and said, what made you always let me come over even when it was spur of the moment? And she just said, I always just knew that we needed to open the door for you. And that's what mentoring is, right? So it does truly take a little bit to be big. So it can be something like this, just a walk around the park. A walk around the park to chat. How many of us do that with our girlfriends? How many of us just go with someone else or even see someone and you're like, hey, good for you, looking good, trying to be encouraging and supportive. So in our mentoring with our students, with our children, we cover these 4 areas because we're finding that this makes a well-rounded experience. So educational success, social and emotional health, social connections and belonging, and then positive behavior and choices. These are just fancy titles for things that we already do, right? We already do these things. How many of us in this room would say, yeah, school is great. Good for you for getting good grades. We wouldn't say it's okay. You know what I mean? We would say, yes, of course we're supporting your education. Social and emotional health. Do you want to talk about that? What is that like for you? Things like that. Social connections and belonging. Hey, it's so good to see you. It's been a while. We said that. How many of us said that this morning? Because there's people in the room that we haven't seen for a couple weeks. Oh my gosh, I've been meaning to call you. And then positive behavior and choices. One of my colleagues gave an example about how we get behind someone in traffic and they may do something that we don't particularly like, and then we have something to maybe say about it in the car by ourselves, and it may be nice and it may be not so nice. A lot of kids, we're all different. We come from different backgrounds and homes, and the way that one child's parent reacts to something like that may be different. So we have an opportunity to show a child a different way to be, a different way to exist, a different way to look at something. Anybody want to take a stab at this number? Or I can just tell you it's early. Eric always says this is not the last 4 of my social. It's definitely not. So this is approximately how many kiddos have asked for a mentor that are currently waiting. So that is different in each county and even in each area of the county. So we serve 3 counties. We serve Hamilton County, Marion County, Johnson County. Johnson County is one of our larger needs areas of those 3 counties. The east side of Indianapolis is a big need, and then we have a pretty large need in Johnson County. So Melanie's right. We did say about 80 students just in this area that are in need of a mentor. So these are not kiddos that have been told about the program or their parents have been told and they're like, hey, you should sign up, and their parents make them do it. These are kiddos that have said, yes, I would like that. I would really like to have another person in my life. And all of those reasons are different. We had a 3-month rally campaign for April, May, and June. And we had a press conference, which was super cool. And it was right when I started this job. So I haven't been here quite a year yet. And the kiddo that talked with his big, he's 9 years old. And he said that the reason he wanted a big was because he's the oldest sibling. He's the big brother. So he wanted to have someone who would pour into him. He's 9. But for him, it was a really big, I want someone to pour into me because I'm usually the one pouring into everybody else. So this is what it looks like just to sign up and volunteer. So you can either have a call with us or you can apply. And that seems like just black and white, but really I am the first hand that you hold. You guys have not met me before, and I am the director of volunteering community engagement. So I am the first hand that you would hold. It does not mean that you sign up today to be a mentor and then you get matched next week with a child. It is a process, and we welcome all of the questions and are really upfront about what it takes, the commitment it takes, any questions that would be obstacles, and they can be different for all of us. A lot of times it's time, right? How much time am I going to need to give? And what does that look like and how much energy? As a newer person to Big Brothers Big Sisters who has mentored before, I really thought that it was going to be a weekly, you do something every Wednesday night. It's scheduled. It is not. It is 4 to 6 hours per month on your own schedule. So that's just one of the obstacles. Sometimes it can be like, I'm exhausted. I'm having a baby soon. I already have 5 children. There was a woman who came up to a table one time and she told me she has 6 kids, and I told her to go away. Please get away from me. Don't come over here. But she's doing mentoring in her own way, right? We're all in different seasons of life. But if 4 to 6 hours a week seems doable, it would not also, I think one of the things too is we're intimidated sometimes by, what if it's a child that I don't relate to? What if they come from a really different place than I do? Or what if their parents, want to make me teach this way or this way or this way? But we do all of those things on the front end. So you have an interview process where you get to talk also about, what is this like for you? Preferences and even age. Sometimes some of us are more comfortable starting with a kiddo who is 9 or 10. Me, I would choose a child that's 13 or 14. That's just me. That doesn't mean I would say no necessarily, but we just want to get to know you so that the match makes sense. And then you actually meet with the family. You meet the child, you meet the family, and it's still not official. As a parent, my son is 13 and he now has a big. And it's a completely different thing on that side, right? Being a mom. And I was pleasantly surprised at the process and how many questions they asked us. And that once they left, his dad and I could talk and say, you know what, this isn't for us, or something doesn't feel right. Maybe we don't mesh super well. And it wasn't official until we all agree. So it really is a team effort. All right. So then another great thing about our process is that you are not left alone after you're matched. So you have someone who's called, it's a fancy name, mentoring relationship specialist. Really, that just means that you get a mentor for being a mentor. So it doesn't mean, again, it's not more of a time commitment there, but it is a check-in and it's a way to tap into other resources and be able to ask questions. Or this came up, how do I handle, such and such? Or I found out that, mom was in a car accident. What can we do to help? What other resources can we provide? It's all support on this end of it. We also have something called a big app. So for mentors, for bigs, we provide you with a lot of no to low cost activities to take your little to. So it's just in the community. There's tons of free stuff to do in Indianapolis anyway, but a lot of times we get tickets from Newfields or, other museums and things that are donated to our agency. Then we can put these on here and provide other opportunities. And for a lot of kids, they haven't had those kinds of experiences. So it may be new for you, but it also may be new for them. And then from that, you get experiences like this. There's Colts games and there's, zoo experiences or going to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And those are things that not all of us in the room are comfortable. I can drop a couple $100 a month to take them to a new experience. That's not what this is about, but it's really just about providing new perspectives and new experiences. And we want to help with those costs. So this is, I know I'm probably coming up on time here. These are ways that you can connect. You can also connect to me. I will hang out for a little bit here, but Melanie also knows how to get in touch with me. We would love to have you. We would love to just have a conversation. So please know that I really mean it when I say, if you get a hold of me and you want to ask questions, I'm not going to be like, so you're signing up. Great, we'll get you a kid. That is not at all how we do things. It's really important to us that everyone is all in this process. And until that happens and until you're comfortable, we don't want you to step into something and then feel like, oh my gosh, this is not for me. I did too much. I can't. So please know, being curious is our thing at Big Brothers Big Sisters. We want to know you. We want to answer your questions. But please do consider the need that we have. All of you in the room are mentoring and you don't even know it. You guys are here because you want to be. You guys are here because you've connected with Melanie somehow, even if it's indirectly. And it's because you guys have asked questions. Would you consider yourself a lifelong learner? You know, those of you in this room, I believe that wholeheartedly. You're here because you want to know more about the world. You want to know more about what's happening in your community. So this is something that's happening in your community. And each one of you, it takes a little bit to be big. So I appreciate your time. Please know you can get a hold of me directly anytime and also talk to Melanie about how to do that. So thank you so, so much. Thank you.
We've got lots of time. Any questions?
Yes.
You guys?
Yes.
I noticed on that last screen, there was you want to be a big couple or?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so we do have some other options. So if it's not something that you want to do on your own, or you just really want to do this with somebody else because of the relationship you already have with a person, so it could be that you do this with your sibling, your significant other, a best friend, someone that you had a significant, consistent relationship with for a year or two. You guys can do this whole process together. A coworker of mine has 2 little ones of her own. So her and her best friend have a little. And there's been times with one of us is sick. So we don't want to cancel, with our little. So it does give some extra cushion and balance. And it also gives the little another different perspective of what that relationship looks like. And again, how many of us, all of the relationships that were modeled in our lives were not perfect, right? So it's really great to have that exposure to healthy friendships, healthy marriages, healthy sibling relationships. So,
Because I know boys have to be with a big brother, right?
typically that's how we do it.
Be with a big sister.
But for a big couple, it can be either a boy or a girl, unless you specifically have a preference for one reason or another. But yeah, it would be an open. It could be a young girl or a boy. Yeah. Any other questions I can answer? Really, anything? Yeah.
So if you have children,
Yeah.
is that something you can tag them along with, or is it just one?
Typically, it would be the one kiddo. That's the majority, but I would say it's not out of the question. For the first few months, it's kind of like anything where there's a little bit of a probationary period, not because, we're watching you like a hawk and there's something, but more just to make sure that that match is comfortable and that everybody is feeling like well suited for who they're with and all that. So for the first while, we really don't do anything at anyone's home. We have you out in the community doing those low to no cost activities. And then after that, if it's okay with the parents and it's okay with the little and all of that and the big, then you could even do something with the family. You could do something in their home, have a baking night or invite them to watch a movie with your family, things like that. So it's not a no, but it's just making sure that the focus is generally, but yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
Usually just one child or
One child. We matched a big couple, and the wife has a little and the husband has a little. I would think that at times their activities overlap for sure, but and I think that they are siblings. The littles that they have are siblings. So that's another thing that I do love about our process is that it's individualized. It's very case by case for the needs of the child, for some of the preferences, or just like how those things work. We really want to match. And we're not always matching for common interests. We're really matching for, values and, you know what I mean? Outside of like, you don't have to love baseball if your little loves baseball. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you pick the age or?
You can definitely express preference. You can sign up as an 8-year-old, and then you can sign up until you're about 14. We do carry through to 18. Typically, we don't want you to sign up past 14 because we do have that wait list. So it can become less likely for that child to be matched. But if you've signed up by the time you're 14, we're going to keep you on that list until you graduate or you turn 18, whichever comes first. But yeah, please, always express. I would feel more comfortable if I got to know them younger and then got to kind of grow with them. We do ask for 12 months. A lot of our matches will grow and keep hanging out past that year mark, but we do ask for 12 months with that 4 to 6 hours a week, just so that we really have the whole program. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm with a mentoring program also.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important that you honor those commitments for the 12-month period. Because studies show that if you do not, it's going to do more harm for those kids than good if you do not stick with them for at least the 12 months.
And I know sometimes, thank you, that can be intimidating when we think about a year, but how many of us are shocked that it's October 2nd? If we'd started in January, it's like, wait a minute, like what year is it and who, so that seems like a long time, but over those 12 months, like it really does go quickly. And I don't say that to trivialize it or to say like it'll just go faster, don't even worry about it, but more to say like we just make that a part of our normal routine and our normal lives, and they become a part of that. And then it doesn't even feel like that like, well, I have to honor I have to go through this year. That's not what we're going for. So anyway, yeah.
You said 4 to 6 hours a month. And then you said 4 to 6 hours a week.
I was wrong the second time. It's a month. So it's really like 2 hangouts a month. So sorry. Yeah, 4 to 6 hours a month. So that is a game changer. Not per week. Yeah.
So 1,050 for waiting. Are you adding to that list?
We are. We don't turn away because these are specifically kiddos who have come to us. Their parents and them have come to us and said this. We really feel like we would benefit. So it's a staggering number for sure, and that covers those 3 counties. So this is why we're so in need of adults to sign on to come in and help us with that need, because the list can grow. We serve about 1,100 to 1,200 kids per year. So currently we have that many adults, or it's going to vary because there might be a couple mentoring. So depending on that, but 1,100 to 1,200 kiddos a year, and then they, some graduate out. And then this is an approximate. I think we're still very much over 900 kiddos that are waiting. Yeah. Yeah. Good question. Yep, a college kid can do it. You have to be 19, and there's no cap on age. So really, I know that for any of us, it can be like, well, I don't know if I'm the right age to do that, or my energy's so high, or I'm so busy, or I feel like I don't have enough energy. But really, that's again why it's so case by case to make that match really a priority, to see like who goes together and why, and some of those values and things. But yeah, 19. The only thing I will say, having college kids is terrific. Like the best. It can be so wonderful. Some kiddos are going to go home. I say kiddos, some college kiddos, because I am old. I am 42. So I'm like, that was a million years ago. But college kids will sometimes go home. That's another reason why doing it even with another person, if you're in college, so that maybe one of you stays and then there's not this like 2 or 3 month gap in that. We also have done a really cool thing. Am I still okay, Melanie, on time? Okay. So we have done something else to kind of aid in that. We have this big wait list, like you were pointing out. And we are calling it group mentoring. So sometimes a group of employees or a group of Butler students has come to our agency for 8 weeks, once a week, and done an activity that's already planned. So they show up and they do an activity with a group of students, so that the students that are waiting for a mentor right now are still able to have some services given to them. And that hopefully out of that, some really great relationships will form, and that maybe those adults will see it. I think it can be a good segue into mentoring. So we're finding that to be really effective. So we had a group of Butler students. This next round that's going to start here real soon is going to be some guys from IHSAA. I think that's right. The initials are hard. I'm not a sports person, so I'm like, it's some combination of those letters that I said. But great, and it doesn't even have to be that, like, 8 of you from this group have to do it. It could be that 5 of you do and that 3 from another group. So we're really just trying to expand how we can serve these kiddos that are on the wait list now, which has been super, super great. So there are some other ways to volunteer. It's been a lot of, like, either you're a mentor or you're not. So we are trying to find other ways to serve these kids that are on the wait list and bring some other volunteer opportunities for when you literally just can't. I can't sign up for 12 months right now. Okay, well, what can we do? What can we do instead to help these kids? So, yeah.
How are the kids finding you? And is there, it sounds like there's a centralized location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're located downtown. That's where, so we're Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Indiana, and there's one in Fort Wayne. So we have like 300-ish, like, nationwide. So this is our region, those 3 counties. And then your other question was the kids. Yeah, so we do some recruiting for kiddos, but a lot of times it's the reputation and the name alone that they find us, or parents may just say, like, hey, I really want to find a way for my kiddo to have another positive influence, and Google, the Google. So a lot of times we're found, and then we do some intentional youth mentoring. There's so many places in Indianapolis that will put on community days and networking things, or at schools. So we show up at those kinds of events too. Yeah.
Can you speak to what the mentorship year kind of looks like? Like, is this a time to just hang out, be ourselves, and kind of illustrate a different way through just those moments in time? Or do mentors get like some sort of like goal setting or character building resources or different things to kind of tee us up for that time with the kid, without sitting down and being like, today we're going to learn about honesty, like, what is, can you just kind of like illustrate that for me?
Yeah, no, I think the way that you said that first chunk is really like, hang out, be yourself, find things to do that are on the app. I should have left that up, but find things to do that are on the app, community things, do, like, there's all kinds of stuff that you can find to do. Those 4 points, like the educational success and social and emotional connections, those are the things that we do try to hit. And those are things that we talk about. We do provide some trainings also. There is one I know that is mandatory, and I'm so sorry, like, I can find out even more details just because that's not quite my wheelhouse yet. But there are trainings and resources available. Your mentoring relationship specialist checks in with you once a month at least. That's just what they're required to call. Like, we need to check in once a month and just talk. That doesn't mean that they're not available more than that. So that means you could call them once a week. You can call them every time you hang out with your little and say, hey, this is what we did, and I felt like this really worked. I wonder if there's more that we could do in this area. We just had... have you guys heard of course you've heard of Eli Lilly, but the Lilly Scholar Group. So they did an event recently downtown, and they invited Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I went and did something similar to this, and we were the recipient of their kind of project for this year. So they gave us like 300 of those drawstring backpacks, and they did 5 different themed backpacks. So one of them was hygiene. One of them was game night. One of them was a baking kit. So providing different things. So we try to tap into resources wherever we can, give ideas, suggestions. It's really all of the above, what you said. Overall, though, like the first part of what you said, that it's really just showing up. It's showing up. It's being yourself. It's being open to whatever they might need to talk about. We have no idea. And we know this as adults too, but we don't always say it. We have no idea how someone might have, how we may have impacted someone else. We do this at the grocery store. I told Melanie about a friend who is starting a business, and she was like, well, who is he? Can I meet him? He should come on our show. And for him, starting that business and having someone take such an interest as an adult is like, it can be life-changing. So it really is just that showing up. And saying like, hey, what can I do? Like, how's your week? How's school? Oh my gosh, did you pass that test? How was it? Like, it's all of that. It's all of that. It's just being you and being curious. Yeah. Yeah. My gosh, you guys have so many questions and it's amazing.
Do you take the children and their parents somewhere to take them to an activity, or how does that work?
That's a great question. So initially when we have a family sign up, we do interview the family. So we have one of our mentoring relationship specialists go to their home and meet the parents and meet the child and just talk through, is this doable? Is there anything keeping you from being able to do this on a consistent basis? It's a very thorough interview for us to get to know a family. Once you're matched with a family, as long as everything is great and everyone has signed off, you can pick up your little from their home. So I have driven my son and dropped him off somewhere to meet, but there's been another time where he's brought him home, or depending on, it's more just like, are you okay? Like, do you want me to bring, it's the mom thing in me. I'm like, I can do that. It's okay. But you can pick up your little and go do something and drop them off, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. Does that help? Does that answer? Yeah, please. Uh-huh. That's a good question. I would say, again, I'll fall back to it's really a case by case. I don't think it's a hard no. I think it's just more what's going to be comfortable. It wouldn't be, if the little did not want to do that or the parents were not comfortable, obviously that's a no. But if they are churchgoers and they are fine with that, or there's an activity in the middle of the week that you want to take them to that, that is something like this even, where you're socializing and there's something going on in a program, like I think as long as the parents are okay, that's just a question it's kind of like we just cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. It wouldn't be like, no, we can't do anything affiliated with XYZ. It's more what's comfortable. What does this family, are they okay with it? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A long time ago was that Big Brothers Big Sisters was just for at-risk kids.
Yep, not true.
Right, like they need something different.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's for every kid. People don't have enough time for their families today, but it's a great resource.
Yes, correct. It is not just for at-risk kiddos. It is for any kiddo that would say, I would really like to have someone to just pour into me, who's impartial, who's, supportive, another adult. Like this kiddo that spoke at the press conference, and he's like, I'm a big brother. I'm the big brother at my house, and I just wanted someone to take me and do something focused with me. And it's not because mom can't ever, but it's hard, right? It's hard as parents to always spend individual time when we have more than one kiddo at home. So for him, that was the meaningful part. And but yeah, it's the whole gamut of kiddos from every walk of life. So thank you. That's a good distinction. Yeah. Anything else? How many of you in this room would say, I'm definitely interested in learning more? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how many of you would say, like, there's no way I could do that right now? You can totally be honest. Yeah. And I would still push back and say, I would like to know why. And I talked to a couple recently that feel like they had 5 kids and now they have multiple grandchildren and they live on the very south end of Johnson County. And I just asked, what stops you from doing that? Because it helps us to know, and it's not so that I can squash all of your obstacles. Like, come at me, I'll squash them all. That's not, I'm not trying to put pressure on you, but it's more like it helps us understand what does keep us and from committing our time. Like, our time is valuable. It's more valuable than money, and it goes and goes and goes without our permission. So there's that. There's always that. But I would love to chat with you all and answer questions and just hear more about why isn't this the right time? If it's not right now, what could it look like? Even if it's not that you are signing up to be a mentor to a child for that 12-month commitment, but what does it look like? Does it look like group mentoring? Does it look like giving tickets sometimes to something fun, that another match can do? It can look like a lot of different things. So, yeah. Any other questions I can answer? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.